Well, if you never thought you could get a $4,000 a month grant from the government without working, well, you should check it out now. I mean, it's amazing what's going on with this Corona thing, because it seems to me they want to shovel money out because there's nobody's got money to buy anything. But the problem is, actually, the problem with this is the $2.2 trillion that they're trying to give out. And one of the best ways, I think, for almost everybody now in the United States is to check out unemployment benefits, because this is where probably the best and most people can apply for, whether you're ever worked before or not, or I mean, all kinds of things. Now, it's not like your father's unemployment benefits or your mother's or last generation's or even last week. This is why it's such a problem. People can't get through to anything. Plus, they have millions and millions of people. 17 million of people applied for these benefits, just in the last couple of weeks, and they usually get a couple 100,000. So they're crashed. And then also, the new law went into effect, just a week ago or so. And these poor offices have to redo their whole computer system to take care of all the new requirements, because more people are eligible now than ever before in the history of the United States. That's why it's something you have to look into, no matter how much of a pain in the ass it is, to try. And I found a good article that covers it a lot. I've covered a lot, and I'll show you. But this article, Vox, they have bigger researchers than I, on something this big. And they have a good analysis here, the kinds of things that you may or may not need. And see, the thing is, the states have a lot of problems. They don't have manpower. So they have an application process where, like, a couple 100,000 were applying. Now a couple million are applying. So they don't have the staff. That's number one. Number two, all of a sudden someone in Washington dreamed up this new government giveaway, and they said, let's put it through the unemployment office. And so they have to reprogram all their computers in the unemployment office to take care of this. And they're still using the old system. So the people are being refused because the new requirements aren't in the system. So it's all screwed up. And that's why you should just be patient and try to struggle through this. It'll straighten out eventually. The more important thing is that it's $2.2 trillion. Man, this is the biggest government handout that in the history of the United States. And they're going to have more. So that's why be patient, whatever. I mean, the first thing for unemployment is, it based on your state. Now here, the Vox, V-O-X, not F-O-X, has a report on how much each state gives out. So like California, they give up to $724 a week. Okay, on top of that, for 4 months, you get an extra $600. So that's $700 plus $600, that's $1,300 a week, So that's what, $5,000 a month. So that's a nice piece of change you're leaving on the table. Plus, it's going to be for 39 weeks. The federal government added 13 more weeks to all the unemployments at the state level. So it's up to 39 weeks, and the federal government's going to pay for it. So it's never been like that before. So who qualifies for this unemployment insurance problem? Okay, I don't know why they call it unemployment, because so many people. You're eligible, if you work in the gig economy, like drivers of Lyft and Uber. You're eligible as a freelancer, as an independent contractor. Part-time employees who lost their job due to the coronavirus will be covered. So you're working, a couple hours a week down the street and you lost your job, you're covered. People who had to stop working to take care of a sick member of the family. So you had to stop working because somebody's sick, you're covered, okay? You have to homeschool their children. So if you had to homeschool your children, you're covered. You're covered for homeschoolers. So you're going to make maybe up to $4,000 a month or more to homeschool your children. Bottom line is, if the virus is responsible for your layoff, you're furloughed. So you don't even have to be fired or laid off. Furloughed, that means you're still like getting health care and stuff like that. Or a drastic reduction in your hours, or is preventing you, or if this virus is preventing you from looking for work because fewer employers are handling, so you can't get a job because you can't find work. Maybe you never even worked before. It doesn't matter. You have a good chance of getting the expanded benefits, and it's worth applying even if you're unsure you're covered. See, that's the key. So maybe there's a slight chance you may not be covered. Now, if you're not for some reason, there's an appeal process. You could have some other bureaucrats look at this thing and say, hey, well, I think I really should. Honest, you're wrong. And you find some little thing, and there's help probably to do that, to find that out. And then you could also ask your elected official to help and beat them, because these are all new rules. Everybody's making it up as it goes along. So if someone made up a rule and kicked you out, see, a week later, that rule maybe be overturned, and they say, oh no, we decided that's good. This is the way that's happening. So even if you're told no, you go back and figure it out. Okay, here's what documentation you need for unemployment insured. States ask for some basic information during the application process, including your name. Now remember your name. That's your name, your birthday, and social security number. Your last employer's information, the company name, the supervisor's name, the address and phone number. The last date you worked and the reason for not working any longer. Your gross earnings in the last week you worked, starting Sunday and ending in your last day on the jobs. So you need the gross earnings in the last week you worked. You may also be asked about your other employers you worked for in the past 18 months, including the employer's name, address, dates of employment, gross wages, earnings, hours worked weekly or hourly, and the reason you're no longer working. So that means you may have to have the employment information for the last 18 months. This means keeping documentation about your previous income and wages is key. This is information that can be found on your W-2 form, pay stubs, or invoices if you are a freelancer, okay? So that's the kind of information you need. Now, how do you find these people? I mean, if you Google now unemployment, yeah, or apply unemployment and your state, you'll find the office, and make sure it's a .gov. That's what you want to do. And see, these poor unemployment offices, I was reading the other day that some of them are using computers from the 1980s. That's when I was studying computers and teaching computers during the 1980s. Yeah, man, the computers were big as this room back then. So that's why, I mean, to expect these organizations to, go from thousands of people to millions of people to process it, and then to add the new requirements that they just got this week. The Department of Labor had to figure out how to, who are we going to cover? And, it's the gig workers, it's the caretaker workers, it's the people who are working from home and all that kind of stuff. Man, and to expect that into to give all that information to another big machine and to make that happen in 2 days or something, that's crazy. So we're going to have to stumble along till we figure this out. So the key is to keep calling. And one of the things I see, I was helping somebody with their application, and sometimes there's an email address. So if you're calling and can't get through on the form, there's nothing more. See if there's an email address you could get a hold of, because maybe that's another bureaucrat, to talk to. Things I hear is like Monday's a terrible day. So weird hours, trying to find out what their hours, usually first when it opens or when they're about to close. And there's no shortcut, just banging away. And also the answer, like even what I say, I mean, you can't trust what I say because I don't write the checks. You have to trust the people writing the checks. And the closest you could get to the people writing the checks to help you is your elected official. So your congressman and senator. So here's how to find them. You go to commoncause.org and then find your representative. And you put in your address there and you'll find your elected officials where you live. And then contact them. That's what it's about. Let's see. Here. 3909 Wisconsin. We'll put that in there and see what happens. Okay. They want me to give money. No, I'm a cheapie. So you have all the elected officials, and then so you have the president, vice president. Then you have your senator. You have 2 senators and a congressman. They're the people that keep track of 2 senators and a congress. So you have their homepage, their phone number, and stuff like that. Call. And because it's an election year, they want to help you. And then you have local people. And so your state representative, your state, however they have it, state senators, they'd be down the list. See, these people are the ones that wrote the law, signed the legislation, and have a big enough staff to try to help people. And they're the people that do the help. I mean, I think there'll never be something this big, this easy. So it takes you a few days to do it. Where the hell else are you going to get like 20 grand? Yeah. That you don't have to pay back. You don't have to look for work too. That's important about this. They don't care if you get a job. They don't want it. They just want to get money in your pants so you spend it somewhere and get this economy going again, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know what happened to conservatism anymore. And it's important. I mean, you have troubles, we all have troubles, whatever, paying these bills. And by the way, for your rent and depending on where you are, I mean, there's help there too. Not that they'll pay the rent, but you get deferred. And that's important too. And there's laws now to protect you. They can't throw you out in the street anymore because of this going on. So make sure you find out about that. And actually, HUD counselors are really good on something like that. And I'll do another report on that later. But I have it in if you're a Lesko Help member, I have a report on all these, whether it's paying your rent, that, or getting the $1,200 that everybody's going to get. And like I heard a senator say the other day, if you're breathing and make less than $75,000, you're going to get a check. And actually, I just read today, in the next couple of days, they'll start sending out those checks. Now, that's going to be a little complicated. If you have paid, if you filed your taxes either 2018 or 2019 and have a electronic form to receive your money in your taxes, you'll get it pretty quickly. If you don't have that, they're going to mail it, so that will take longer. And the Treasury Department is going to have a website. I don't think it's up yet. I haven't checked today, but I've been checking every day. And that you could put in your electronic transfer information to get that check faster, and keep an eye on that. But, the government they're talking about almost $5 trillion. This is going to cost. I mean, what is the Federal Reserve just put in another $2 trillion for people to borrow money from. So that means the banks can lend you money easier, stuff like that. But all this stuff you don't pay back, so it's not a loan. This is washed away, and my grandkids have to pay for this, so whatever. But it's there to help. I mean, people are hurting. We got to pay bills. This is how we get through in our society. So make sure you apply. Make sure that you have a book, a video game, or something to play with while you're on hold, waiting for these bureaucrats. And be nice. That's the key. When they finally get on the phone, don't start yelling at them because you had to wait for them. No, they're the power. If they get pissed at you and hang up by accident, right? Then you have to do this for another 3 days or whatever the hell it is. You don't want to do that. So you want to be the nicest person in the world. You feel for their pain. They're the ones that got to answer these phones all the time. And people are pissed off at them. So you don't want to be one of those people because they'd rather try to find somebody that's not angry. So you be the not angry one. And relate to, oh, I'm so sorry you have to do this, but it's going to be so helpful for me. Things like that. People want to help people, but we got to give them a chance. And I love helping people. And that's what Lesko Help is all about. If you want to know more about that, it's go to lesko.com. Tells you about that. And that's where I answer your question for anything that you need money for. I show you a free source of money like these things. But if it's for housing, for starting a business, or travel, education, whatever you want, getting a job, just having fun. And that's why I show you where it is. Because if you go on Google to find out, you're going to find people that are going to charge you. I want to show you websites that give you money, not website. And Google shows you websites that take your money, because people who advertise there have to pay Google. So they got good money from you to pay Google. The government doesn't work that way. They just give it out. So they're not going to pay Google. So you have trouble finding them. That's my job. You're right. I shouldn't be doing it, but somebody's got to do it. See you there.